is the head coach in waiting, the assistant head coach at San Diego State, Brian Dutcher, who joins us via the Corky's hotline on XX1090. Dutch, good to talk to you. Darren Smith, thanks for a couple minutes.
Good to be back, Darren. How have you been?
I've been great, thank you very much. You like Alan Jackson? You're a country music guy?
I like country. I've actually been to a Buffett show or two, though, so I'm a little bit more prone to little Jimmy Buffett.
I like it. Would you call yourself a parrot head?
Not quite.
Not quite.
Not
okay.
Quite. I've got a shirt, though, that I've been offered money for, a Hawaiian shirt. So I've got an over-the-top Hawaiian shirt that I've been known to wear at a Buffett show.
Oh, I would love to see that. Where's that kept? In the closet, in the vault?
That's in the back recesses of the closet.
How much money have you been offered?
Quite a bit. I got it back when I was in college a long, long time ago at a rag stop, which is like a Goodwill type of a place. So.
And it still is good? It's good on the hanger and everything?
I don't know. To me it is, but I'm sure the wife isn't too fond of it anymore.
That's funny. I did not know. I'm glad. We're always learning something about you. We got to start picking your brain a little bit here, since one day, somewhere down the road, you are going to be the head coach of this program as you get set for UNLV coming up this weekend. I want to start, though, Coach, by asking how much you've watched or how much you've been able to watch Kawhi play in the NBA.
It's funny you ask. David Velasquez, our video guy, pulled up all his clips. There's a service called Synergy where we can watch all the shots he takes in every game, and we watched his baskets over the last 3 games, and you can just see he's getting better. They're getting more confident in him, and he's getting more confident in his abilities out there, and he's looking really good right now.
You know, it seems to me that as much as we talked about perfect scenario for him, a team, not a lottery team, a team that would think he'd have to come in there and score a ton of points, he just looks, I watched a little bit of his game last night, he really looks like he belongs at that level. I mean, he just seems to fit in physically with the other guys.
Absolutely. I mean, you watch him rebounding at that level. I mean, he's getting 8 rebounds in games, and I noticed that he's not shooting the 3. He stepped it in a little bit, and I think he can shoot the 3. You know, Kawhi's a workaholic on the basketball floor. But it looks to me right now he's trying to step in a step from that three-point arc and try to shoot a little closer in. But he seems to be getting better to me every time I see him.
I think it's also great for your program. As much as you could talk about Kawhi, the individual, going and playing for San Antonio and how good that coach is and how good those players are in their history recently and the whole front office, R.C. Buford. But I think it's also good for you guys now. I get the sense that there's a lot of people out there. Your own athletic department is tweeting out updates about Kawhi Leonard. You're posting it on your official athletic website. I think it's good for your program now that people are also following along with Kawhi and now Malcolm.
Absolutely, Darren. And we've had this talk before. The kids want to win, but they also want to get to the NBA. And if you can always say, hey, you can get to the NBA from here, yet nobody goes, then they're hollow words. But now that we have 2 players on the San Antonio Spurs, it's a realization, and the kids we're recruiting say we can go to San Diego State, we can win, and we can make it to the NBA.
Got the whole the Holy Trinity there. Brian Dutcher, assistant head coach at San Diego State on San Diego Sports Leader XX1090. Up until this point, Coach, give us an idea. I mean, 14-2 looks good record-wise, especially when you consider the 2 teams that you lost to, how good those 2 teams both are. But from where you sit, how do you feel about your 14-2 pre-conference schedule?
You know, it's really exciting, Darren. You know, I don't know if in our wildest dreams we thought we'd be 14-2. I think we're confident in our kids, and they were confident they could win games, but we had a 6 or 7 game stretch there that we were very nervous about. You know, playing Cal, playing Arizona, Creighton, Baylor, our crosstown rival USD. And some people say, well, USD, well, yeah, that's the crosstown rival game. I think we were down 12 or 14 points in that game. And you throw in Long Beach State, Santa Barbara. So, yeah, we're real pleased with where we are right now. Obviously, you always look back as a coach and wish you wouldn't have let maybe the Creighton home game slip away. But all those games have hopefully prepared us for our conference opener, which we will take the floor against the Rebels Saturday at 1.
I don't know if you like this term or not, but there is a such thing, or at least from where I sometimes run my mouth, I always think that there is a good thing as a good loss. There's a good loss. I think losing at Baylor was a good loss. I don't know how to really classify the Creighton one because it happened on your home court. They're ranked, and they're good, and they're experienced, but when you look at those 2 games in particular, can you put them into the category? Are they equal in terms of what a good loss would be defined as?
You know, I don't know if coaches ever say there's a good loss. I mean, you'd obviously like to win a game tight and maybe make some mistakes and learn from your mistakes and win. But, you know, the losses, we've got to learn from them like we got to learn from the wins. Sometimes you win 3-4 games in a row and you think you're playing better than you are, and the key to anything is getting better every day. So we have to learn both in wins and losses.
You got to admit, though, I mean, losing to Baylor at this point, it's not like anybody else has a win against that team. Do you realize they were that good when you guys went and played them there?
I thought we'd give them a game, and they were actually better than I thought they were once we got on the floor against them. You watch tape, and you think you know what they're going to be, but their length is incredible. And we tried to put them in positions where they had to help, but they didn't help. They just said, we're big enough to stay in front, and we're not going to help with all the people other teams help with. And so they stayed extended on our shooters in their zone. We couldn't collapse the defense, and they're very good.
We're talking to Brian Dutcher on San Diego Sports Leader XX 1090. Coach, you're 14-2. You're getting set. UNLV comes up later on this weekend to start conference play. You mentioned you're thrilled with the 14-2 start. I think a lot of us probably thought maybe this would have been a transition year. In terms of the X's and the O's and the wins and the losses, that's one thing. But how about the development of the team from a coach's standpoint? Have you found out who your leaders are and what roles everybody's playing?
Yeah, it's been a little disjointed the last 3 or 4 games not having Xavier Thames on the floor. He's missed some time with a knee injury, and we brought him back against Chicago State, and he's trying to get his game legs back underneath him. But that kind of threw us a step back, in my opinion. Even though LeBradford Franklin was a good backup at the point, and Chase Tapley filled in there, we're not the same team without X playing well at our point guard position. So we won some games. We played some guys in positions that are not used to playing in. But I think for us to be at our best, we need Xavier in there at the point and playing at a high level.
And does that include then a leadership role, or is that a lead by example role, or is it a different guy? Is it a guy like a Tapley or a Shelton?
We've got great leadership from our veterans. Tim Shelton has been in the program 5 years now, and he provides great leadership. Sometimes it's harder for Tim because he doesn't practice every day, so he can't put it on the practice floor. He can lead vocally from the sideline, but with his knees the way they are, we don't practice them every day. Chase has done a good job. He's getting better at it. Obviously, Xavier's a very good leader on the floor from the point guard position. Maybe not as vocal as we'd like him, but definitely in setting an example of how hard to play and what wins basketball games.
Brian Dutcher on San Diego Sports Leader XX 1090, assistant head coach at San Diego State. So you got UNLV to open up conference play this weekend. I'm stopping short of saying that I think that this is a significant game. How big of a game is it from where you sit?
The thing that makes it significant is the fact we're playing on our home floor. If we were going to UNLV and played a heck of a game and got beat, we'd say, we got it coming back to us down the road. But obviously when you open conference play, you don't want to give your home games away. So that makes it doubly important as far as I'm concerned to try to hold serve on the home floor. And we get no relief after that. We go right to Albuquerque and play New Mexico, who was the preseason pick to win the league and who's playing very well now. So now that we're in league play, there will be no easy games. They'll all be close. They'll all be hard-fought. And we're going to see if we can survive and win these games in high-pressure situations.
Have your expectations in terms of results from 2011, 2012, have they changed at all given the fact that you guys started 14-2?
I think the team is confident. Anybody that watches us and the coaches that play against us, they say our greatest quality is our kids believe they're going to win every game. We play like that. The opposing coaches after the game say, your kids play with no fear. They play like they're going to win every game. They believe they're going to win every game. And so I think that's a great compliment to Coach Fisher that he has a team that lost so much and a new team that has carried on that culture of winning. I mean, everyone talks about culture of winning. Mm-hmm. I think that's what we have right now at San Diego State. We have that culture of winning.
So is there something to be said about carryover from last year into this year, even though so many of the parts have changed?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, guys that may not have, even though Chase was on last year's team, he probably wasn't our primary option. It was probably DJ and Kawhi and Malcolm and Billy, and Chase played a role, just like Rayhan. But they got used to winning, and now when they've had to step up their roles, score more points, be a more of a focus in the offense, they're kind of used to that, winning ways and seeing how the other guys play those roles. So, yeah, I think there's a culture of winning. I think we've had guys in the program. They're not all new. They've all been in the program, the guards, and so we're getting great guard play right now.
When you look at UNLV on tape as they come to town, do they look like UNLV that you've been successful against, or are they starting to look a little bit more like BYU given the fact that they changed the coach?
I think they're UNLV to the point where they have great athleticism, and they're really, Dave Rice has done a great job in regards to the fact where he hasn't tried to change everything. He knew he had a veteran team that played good pressure defense, that was very good off ball screens, and he's kind of accentuated those things. He hasn't come in and tried to rebuild the program. I think they're trying to run a little bit more, but he's done a good job of not trying to change what they are. And what they are is they're experienced, they're talented, they're big, they're deep, and so they're going to provide a tremendous challenge for us on Saturday.
And I would think the way to look like BYU is to get Jimmer Fredette on your team, too.
Absolutely. Nobody can look like BYU the way Jimmer played. I mean, you had to guard him 40 feet from the basket.
Right, no question. But, it's weird because he goes in there as the head coach, and he obviously has roots in that program being a former player. I was wondering about this yesterday. Did you and Coach Fisher, did you guys as a coaching staff ever come across UNLV back in the heyday of Tarkanian?
I'm trying to think if we played him with Tark or not. I know we played him while we were at Michigan, but it might not have been with Tark. But obviously, Dave's done a great job promoting the program to a higher level than it's ever been because, their theme is let's run. And that's as much to do with recruiting as it is to the way they play. UNLV has always run with their athletes. But he's used that as kind of a motto to say we're going to run even more, and that's going to be appealing to our recruits. Because in the end, a lot of it comes down to who you're going to get to come to that program. So they've done a good job running, and they've done a good job selling that they run because they think it's important to their recruiting.
How many teams off the top of your head, this has nothing to do with the game this weekend, can you think of that were better than that team that he was on with Augman and Larry Johnson and Greg Anthony? How many teams can you think of in college basketball that have been better than that squad? That team was great.
Not very many. And the thing they did, they guarded so hard. Augman, he's got a reputation of being a great defender. You think of his NBA career, and you don't talk about his offense. You talk about what a great defender he was, and Larry Johnson, how tough he was. And those guys defended, and their offense was created off their defense. And I think that's a sign of great teams. A lot of teams can score, but very few want to play that kind of defense to put themselves into that position to be great, and I think their defense made them great.
And Augman had one of those wingspans that was like 15 feet wide.
Absolutely. They were hard to score, but they were so long and so athletic that that was a special team.
I'm sure they didn't catch your attention when they beat North Carolina, but I'll tell you, it's not just you guys who went out there and played some good teams, beat Long Beach State, beat Arizona, beat Cal, and had some quality wins, but it seemed like the conference, without having it all in front of me, it seemed like the conference, UNLV beating Carolina, Wyoming, it seems like the conference had a lot of good out-of-conference wins before conference play kicks off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I heard Dave on the station yesterday say there were only 3 conferences where every team in the conference didn't have a losing record at this point. And I think the lowest win total in the Mountain West going into the conference season is 10. So I think the worst record in the conference is 10-5. So this conference is going to be very competitive. It's going to be hard to win on the road. That's why it's so important to try to hold serve at home. And generally that's the formula for good basketball. Win all your home games and split on the road. And maybe you steal an extra one on the road and then your conference champs.
You guys know Justin Hudson very well, assistant coach with you guys. He's taken the trips with you guys. He's been in the meetings, a lot of man hours, I would think. He's now on the staff at UNLV. What does that bring to the table? How much of an advantage does he bring to them?
Well, obviously knows, we're not going to change what we do because Justin's over there. So he's very, very familiar with how we like to do things. He'll know our play calls. And the thing is, we don't want to go out and say, well, what are we going to do to trick Justin? We've got to play the way we play. We've added a few things, obviously, for this game that we haven't shown yet this year. They've had 9 days off since their last game to get ready for us. So you would think they're going to be as well prepared to play us as they've played anybody this year, where they've had 9 days to do nothing but focus on the Aztecs. We've had 3 or 4 days where we're getting ready for Vegas, but really the preparation has gone beyond that. Some of these games we were playing, not trying to disrespect our opponents that we did play in that stretch, but we've been getting ready for Vegas for 2 weeks in ourselves.
Right. I mean, the Chicago State game, a little sleepwalking in that one, right?
They played really well. I mean, if you were to tell me after that game that they had not won a game, you'd have to poke me. I mean, they didn't look like a team that hadn't won a game this year. They were making threes, hitting tough shots. They were athletic and dunking the ball. But I think that game was good for us. Another blowout would not have served us. It was good to have the stress, to have the stress on the players, to be down early in the second half and see how they would respond. I don't think we would have been served by another 30-point win. So even though we would have liked to play better, I think the way the game went probably benefited us in the long run getting ready for Vegas.
Well, Coach, it's funny. Here we go again as we start conference play in Vegas coming up at 1 o'clock this weekend. I know that tickets are at a premium here. I don't think that this falls at your doorstep, but it's funny because Ryan Lindley through Twitter said that he's having a tough time getting tickets for this game and has contacted the show knowing that you are coming on it. Ryan Lindley, who is going to the Senior Bowl, who has led this football program, the back-to-back bowl games, he's having a tough time getting tickets. Do you have any advice for him?
Maybe he ought to look in that beard. There might be one hidden in there. I don't know. What a great beard he has, though, huh?
Oh, man. What would you do? Do you guys allow beards like that if one of your players showed up? It's a Bill Walton beard.
We've got guys with facial hair, but we don't have a beard like that. So, no, I can't believe Ryan Lindley could not find his way into the game. He's a student here. He automatically gets a ticket. He's just got to wait in line like everybody else. Okay,
fair enough. Message sent. There you go, Ryan Lindley, if you're listening. We asked the guy who's the guy. So, hey, good luck this weekend, Coach. It's good to catch up. Thanks.
Thanks, Darren.